in Joburg, actually. Hope you guys are doing well, man. Good to see everyone. I'm super excited. So here's the thing. If it's your first time to come across this channel, I'm going to ask you to subscribe. Make sure that you ring the bell so that every time I'm live, you'll be notified immediately. But to my regulars, I just want to say shout out to you. And I'm so grateful that you're here. And we're going to just having a time together. We're going to talk about Mr. Mnangagwa. He's becoming dangerous. This is Rejoice Ngwenya. He said Mr. Mnangagwa is becoming more dangerous than ever. And it's going to be interesting. He's getting more and more dangerous by day. And let's just try to unpick that. Please, good to see everyone. And also, Terrence Mukupe jailed. Whew. From being the vice, deputy minister of finance to prison. Actually, very sad to watch. Very sad developments for real. So, come over, guys. Let's have a chat. Oh, man. Our training stories. Hi, Nessa. Good to see you. Can I tell you, Nessa, she's always like the first person. Shout out. I need to send you some shout out. I think you're amazing. Oh, my God. I'm going to have a competition that we're getting into December now. Competitions are coming. I'm so excited. Super excited, actually. Super excited. All right, guys. We're going to start right here. Training stories. So Themba Mliswa just tried. He said ED, just like the Speaker of Parliament, he has no power to stop a constitutionally mandated process. Let's find other ways to deal with these issues legally, but let's not make the fatal error of wrecking constitutionalism. The Constitution should remain scared. Okay, this one after Newsday reported that top by-elections, Chamisa pleads with ED. I don't know if Chamisa pleads with ED, but all I remember is said, if these by-elections can spew blood, then we might as well not doing them. Guys, just looking at that accident, I'm like, I think it's that time for sacrifice. So don't forget to like the live as we move along. It's that time of the year. Sacrifices. You must pray for yourself and pray for your families. The devil is rolling like a lion, seeking for who he can devour. And then he went on to say, unfortunately, lately we have failed as a nation to respect it. Even Mugabe, at his worst, would rather contrive for a convenient amendment of the Constitution that would allow him to advance his course constitutionally. And Sigurd Rebara said to him, if the Constitution was supreme, Mr. Westwood would get his assets back, because we know the Constitution is there, but it works for certain individuals, but not for everybody. So people are saying this Constitution you keep on talking about is literally, favors some, and then it does implicate some. Quite interesting to watch. But one thing that I discovered, actually, when I was watching the interview that Ngwenya had with Trevor Ngwenya, is that the day of the coup, something happened. Something so dangerous happened that people literally took, took for granted. I don't know if we can say they took it for granted because they never know. One thing that we're asking politicians, be honest. Honestly, if we knew that this happened during the day of the coup, definitely we're not going to accept the coup. But unfortunately, politicians were not able to tell us because they were afraid. But I would like you to take a listen to what Ngwenya had to say before I proceed, please. Quite a very dangerous submissions there. But that's exactly what happened during the day of the coup. Please take a listen.
Alliance at Tsvangirai's house, and I was chairing that meeting. And Tsvangirai was already unwell. He was in the house, but he was not in the meeting. A call came through. We were about to do a press conference. And obviously these people were connected. Therefore, it means the people were with us. Were in direct call with those who were carrying out the meeting. A call came through. Tsvangirai's PA said, I must come and take that call. The person introduced themselves as a Lieutenant General so-and-so and say, whatever you do, do that press conference. If for 1 second you condemn what we are doing, we will be there. We will be there, and you will not like our boots. But so I said, okay. So
you've never shared this anywhere.
No,
you're sharing this for the first time.
Wow.
A wealth exclusive for you right there. Please proceed.
So I put the phone down, went back, and said, guys, this is the call that we just got. rest is history. The rest is history. But I'm sharing this in order to say, if that act, if it was an act of liberating us, it would not have started, for me personally, with that threat. The very fact that there was that threat told you that nothing good was going to come out of this. I take no pleasure in saying that I knew. I also secretly hoped that maybe, just maybe, maybe we might have a break with the past.
All right, I'm a firm believer that the introduction, or I'm a firm believer that the foundation, if it's faulty, nothing works. You know, the Bible says, if the foundation be faulty, what can a righteous man do? Especially righteous men. Now we talk about people who don't know if they're righteous or not. If the foundation is faulty, nothing works. I cannot believe that people were threatened in 2017, prior to the coup, that very same day that the coup was executed. People were threatened. MGs was threatened by the army. Allegedly, a lieutenant called in, according to Miss Ngwenya, and said, if you proceed, with your oppressor, then you're in trouble. We're coming after you now. Don't say anything. And now I'm asking on the other side, why didn't tell us, Mr. Ngwenya, that very same day? You could have said, oh, listen, the army said, or Lieutenant so-and-so said so. This is a problem about Zimbabwe. The dishonesty, and people are not open about important issues. And some people may say it was not, I'd rather die standing for what's right than, suffering or let people go down like what's happening. How many people that are dying today? Imagine how many lives we would have saved if truth was spoken the very same day that, there are threats that happen. Is this the country that we want? We were all celebrating, dancing, celebrating the army. But on the other hand, on the backdrop of threats, quite very sad to watch. Sad developments right there. That could show why we are in this predicament, in this mess. It's because the foundation was wrong. We could have known immediately that there was a hidden agenda, but people didn't know because politicians were not honest with the masses. All right, so there's a woman who lost a passport, apparently. Her name is Tendai Matika. She lost her passport, as they said, by the border from Chirumanzo, apparently, and she's also... in the passport, there is a visa from America, which means she was just traveling, maybe in and out South Africa. So please, if you know her, just know that, can just get hold of me. Then I can link you with the people that have your passport, please. Her name is Chirumanzo Matika. I'm also going to make sure that I drop the details in the community section so you guys can also just spread the word. All right, a quick one. Very interesting scenarios that played. You saw what happened with Henrietta Rushwaya, the woman that was caught with 6 kgs of gold in her handbag at Robert Mugabe Airport. And yesterday, she was sentenced to about, I think, 18 months in imprisonment, which were wholly suspended, and also, wholly suspended, a fine of $5,000 US. But people were asking questions because there was a case that was also, tried in court, and in 2021. 2013, 21st of June, 2013, there was a case that was tried of individuals who had also stolen, I think half of a gram of gold, which was worth $24 US. Get this right, $24 US in Gokwe. These 2 gold partners were found with various sizes of alluvial gold, were last week slapped with 5-year jail sentence for a possession of gold without mining or prospecting licenses. They were caught with gold, or which worth $24. They were jailed for 5 years. But we have Miss Henrietta Rushwaya, who was caught with 6 kgs of gold that worth 330 K US. Yesterday, she was fined 5,000 rand, sentenced to 18 months imprisonment, which were wholly suspended. Wholly suspended means you're not going to go to prison. That's what it means. Wholly suspended is because some of the backup were that she was never convicted before, and there was no there was no, they can say hold is suspended, but then they give you a parameter, say if you commit the same crime, you can go to prison. No, for her, no, there's nothing like that because she plays with God. So of course, they knew that she may later be caught again, but now she's free. So it's wholly suspended. Also just being fined for 5,000. But other guys who literally had gold for $24 were jailed for 5 years. People are like, how on earth can that happen? And I'm saying, where are the attorneys? Please, human rights attorneys, please get this case and do the work. And make sure those people that were jailed for $24 are out of prison. Honestly, I think it's unfair. Notwithstanding the money or your relationship or your affiliation, we must consider that what you're doing is wrong. You have been caught with 6 kgs, with 330K, you are having 18 months wholly suspended, 5,000 fine, but the people who were caught with half of a gram, get this right, of gold, worth $24, were jailed for 5 years. What is that supposed to tell you? Vene is that kingdom of Vene, is their time. The kingdom of Vene. Very interesting to watch. So people say this was followed by reports to the effect that the judge handling the case of Shire, allegations are the judge was also given a loan, worth a coup of US 400K, had been speeded up and approved on the eve of the case by none other than a family relation of the accused operation in the highest office in the land, Hama Manyama. So pretty much she's a niece to the President E.D. Emerson Mnangagwa. If there had ever been any hope that justice would be served, this melted away with those shocking reports. Yet only the naive or gullible would have entertained such notions. Joe Okloko is for the poor, unconnected and marked political opponents of the regime. With that nonchalant smile reflecting in that smile below, she was smiling. You've seen a picture, smile, I smile. The protagonist in question is simply radiating a sense of assuredness that says, I'm too powerful to be jailed. You know it. Of course, the president is my uncle. I'm his niece, so of course, what do you expect? Jail time? It's the kingdom of Vene. So the judge said, I can tell you, Mr. Mnangagwa is going to be dangerous. I'm not surprised. I mean, we've seen the developments after this sham of an election, the illegitimacy that is still boiling. We've seen quite a number of things that are interesting to watch. Very, very serious developments right there. And for me, I completely agree with the Rejoice. I think we yet to see a lot, honestly, a lot. Did you actually hear yesterday when he was saying that I'm the godfather of all the Zimbabwean institutions, the army, the police, judiciary, all those important sectors of our government. Mr. Mnangagwa said, I'm the godfather, so what does that mean? Is the kingdom of Vene. Let's take a listen to what Rejoice had to say. He said, I'm telling you, he's going to be very, very, very dangerous, more than you can ever imagine. Take a listen, please.
I said, we have to keep one eye open. He's going to be retracting now into his own space, a space of fear and distrust and mistrust, because he's now saying, whoever is coming in, are they going to be able to protect my interests? So that introspection can translate into deeper authoritarianism. So it is a dangerous space that we are in now, a space where he might not trust anybody. So by not trusting anybody, he will want to have legislation that tightens what he would call the loose ends, so that even his successors, it might even be difficult to even talk about successors, because you don't want to groom competition if you are a nationalist. So to me, Blessed, it's not it's not worth celebrating that he's on his last term. I wish that he had given up and allowed a new generation in ZANU-PF to take over. Really, he's not going to want to change the constitution again for a third term. You can't put it past nationalists, Blessed. We have to keep one eye open. He's going to be...
I'm going to repeat that again.
Blessed. We have to keep one eye open. He's going to be retracting now into his own space, a space of fear and distrust and mistrust, because he's now saying, whoever is coming in, are they going to be able to protect my interests? So that introspection can translate into deeper authoritarianism. So it is a dangerous space that we are in now. A space where he might not trust anybody. So by not trusting anybody, he will want to have legislation that tightens what he would call the loose ends, so that even his successors, it might even be difficult to even talk about successors because you don't want to groom competition if you are a nationalist. So to me, Blessed, it's not a pleasant, it's not worth celebrating that is on his last term. I wish that he had given up and allowed a new generation in ZANU-PF to take over. Really, he's not going to want to change the constitution again for a third term. You can't put it past nationalists, Blessed. We have to keep one eye open. He's going to be...
But yeah, I'm scared already because, I mean, we know that there have been literally reports that they are in pursuit of two-thirds majority. And you can see what's happening right now. Even the places where the law selection, there are a lot of manipulations happening there. And they're coming out, they said we are victorious. So of course, if they are in pursuit of two-thirds majority, the goal is definitely to amend the constitution. As for people's allegations, analysts are saying they may want to amend the constitution. Quite very interesting. But as far as I know, I've said to people, hey, listen, if I was in the position of Citizen Coalition for Change, considering all these anomalies and all the dramas that we are facing today, be it the Songezo Shavangu slap, and we also look at what's going on in Parliament, I would just gonna pull away and stand and see where are they going with this. Honestly, they can't lead this country. This country is burning already. They can't lead Zimbabwe. They can't, not on their own. Honestly, they cannot. So whether we are going to push, we are going to speak, we're going to, whatever we're going to do, that does not stop the agenda. The agenda is very clear. And they made it very, very clear to you yesterday. The president said, I'm the godfather of all the institutions. And what does that mean? When you're a godfather, you're in control, you can do whatever you want to do. You are the godfather. You may not be, when you are saying you're a godfather, not a president, your president is, you are being conferred that authority. But when you're a godfather, you are the godfather. You become a religious or a spiritual, commander. That's what that means. Godfather simply means you're a spiritual commander. Godfather. So, yeah, we are definitely heading to something. But buckle up, fasten the belt. One thing I'll tell you is when time is right, the Lord will make it happen. When it's time, nothing will stop. Nothing will stop changing the country when it's God's time. I can tell you, Smith on his own, he said the same thing. There will never be majority rule. He said, never in 1,000 years. But in a few years, it was done. Mugabe said, I will rule in the grave. I guess maybe he's still ruling right now because the chaos in the country can make sure that the brother may have an impact. I'll rule even in the grave. But we saw him falling. So words are cheap. Talk is cheap. But one thing that I know is you can amend any other document that was formed by any human. But there's one law you can never amend, is the law of nature. Is whatever you sow is what you reap. And when it's time, there's nothing going to do. Because that law is what can only be controlled by God himself. It's Yahweh who can control it. All right, so Terrence is in trouble. The deputy finance minister, remember Terrence Mukupe, that dude that used to be pompous. Let me just tell you, if you want to get into the kingdom of Venega, Zikama can open up kingdom now because they will use it like a bubble gum. Of course, they will chew you and spit you like a bubble gum. These guys used to be pombas, yeah. Remember, wearing his scarf. Look, the scarf is kind of like it's a party, it's a part badge. He still have his badge. The picture that they are using, but the brother is going to be serviced 3 years. I don't know if he's going to appeal. I don't need the Supreme Court, I guess, because this was a high court. Who knows? Maybe he's going to come back and appeal the sentence. So he's given 3 years imprisonment and also, I think, about 12,780 fine for his crime because he was caught smuggling diesel in 2017. Quite very sad developments right there. But like I said, the kingdom of Vene, Zika, my boys, when I'm removed, Joy Charama, shout out to you. Zika, my brother, because when things turn ugly, brother, they're really going to get very ugly. So let's behave. because you never know what tomorrow holds for you. Let's treat each other with respect as a family and as a people that love each other. Now, Dr. Walter Muzembe, he said ZANU-PF will benefit more from a school of modernization because the truth is that they are stuck with this whole school of ideology. They will benefit from the school of modernization and transformation in the future than a school of ideology that no one can crack at this stage. And one that is so at variance with the values that Chitepo himself stood or died for. I've listened to footage on him and read his literally works. There is no relationship with how ZANU-PF in its current state is conducting political business. Just name the magnificent building after the current godfather, Mnangagwa, and let Chitepo rest in peace. I'm sure Amram, we would love that too. Beautiful buildings do not reflect what's cooking inside them. We all know what's going on differently in the Chitepo space with VNA. It's the behavior. Now I'm asking myself, I'm like, what are you saying, school of ideology? What kind of ideology are you referring to? Is it the behaviors of people, thuggery behavior, disrespecting the elders, weeping elders and, abuse, our institution? Is that what you call an ideology? I don't know what that means. I still need to research more about Chitepo, but the last time I checked, when he was literally talking in an interview, you sounded like someone who was very, very warm and also, have a heart for the people. But where we are right now, do you see anyone who is really, who respects the will of the people at all? Do you know anyone who respects the will of the people as we speak? But Chitepo he was very bold when he speaks. And he was sure that he would do anything to get the freedom. I guess this is the only thing that we need is to have such an attitude. But it can't be used against the people of peace. It was only when they were fighting the regime, Ian Smith's regime. But now we are people of peace. We don't need such kind of a thuggery way of approach. We just need to sit around the table and have a conversation to fix the country. Very, very important right there. Yo, do you know what happened with the soccer? Honestly, when things are falling in the country, they're really, really, really going down. Now, the Zimbabwe national football team players boycott 2 p.m. training over unpaid allowances from online Zephyr. They face Nigeria in 3 days' time in the World Cup qualifying match at the Hue Stadium in Rwanda. So they boycott because they said they were never paid. Quite very interesting. There's no money. So they said, we are not going to play. But I would like you to take a listen to what Bongai Zamzam Cheer said. Zimbabweans, are we really educated as we claim we are? And we keep on saying we're a sport country because we are sitting with only Case Coventry, or we are a sport country, and we neglected those that really made any impact before. So I want you to take a listen to what he had to say, please. I'm also tired of people saying Zimbabweans were educated, but what's going on in the country does not reflect any educated person at all, unfortunately. The people that are busy harassing us, they're not even educated. It's a fact.
National, regional, international level, that sort of thing. I want to get your take, in terms of what we're doing in sport in our country, in terms of nurturing talent and monetizing it for our benefit.
So I'll summarize it this way. We are not serious about sport. We're not a sporting nation. We have... In Zimbabwe, we tell ourselves a lot of lies. Lies. Right? South Africa wouldn't operate but for Zimbabweans. Lies.
Of course.
Right? We've got fantastic sports people we export around the world. Lies. Right? It's lies. Right? We are very mediocre. Or we are a very rich country. Lies. Right? We're poor. Like I said earlier on. Right? The average
audience would be throwing stones and tomatoes.
You look at the statistics. Average Zimbabwean has to walk 2 kilometers a day for fresh water. That's not the sign of a country that's rich. People say, "Oh, we've got diamonds, we've got this." Yes, guys. Right? Until you actually extract a lot of these things, you're poor. Right? And you'll stay poor. Right? What have we ever achieved in sport? Right? Christy Coventry. It's a given. Individual sport. Right? Do you know who the second most successful Olympian in Zimbabwean history is?
No idea.
Elliot Mujaji. Right? Elliot Mujaji is a Paralympian. Right? 2, 3 gold medals is one. Right? Not many people will know about Elliot Mujaji. Right? Fantastic sports person. Right? But where is he now? Is he celebrated? Do we have any history to remember there was a guy named Elliot Njaji. We all know Dr. Kirsty Coventry, the Minister of Sports. We all know the Golden Girls. Right? We don't know about Elliot Njaji. Right? Arifonso Zhenyiga. We were seeing Arifonso Zhenyiga when Floyd Mayweather came to Zimbabwe. But most people will just talk about Proud Kilimanjaro as one of those boxing legends. This is the man who won Commonwealth belts. We don't even celebrate our sports people who have achieved. Right? People like Mastermind George Shire. Where are the statues? There should be a statue for George Shire before the stadium. Right? People like Marriott Lusengo who founded things like Dynamos. Instead, Ndara Shunguruza all the time because there's constant battles about this thing called Dynamos. When it should be celebrated that they got together and formed this huge institution, in 1968 or whenever it was? But there's no tributes to him, right? Richard Simba, the first black player to play for Zimbabwe, named the Black Diamond, and Kenny Simba, who are
phenomenal fly-off,
right? The only Zimbabweans in a World Hall of Fame, maybe but Kusikov is probably in the Olympic, but in the World Hall of Fame, the World Rugby Hall of Fame, the two Timber brothers are there. Where are we celebrating them? What are we doing in relation to that? So we say we're a sporting country. Lies. Right? What level of support does government give to sport? That's what government is going to give something to the gems. That's nice. But it's an afterthought. With the greatest respect, it's an afterthought. Right? Maybe because we are a poor country, we do this as an afterthought. West Indies is a poor country, but you saw the world cricket history. Oh yeah, right. The West Indies ladies are there at the World Cup in South Africa, and they're going to compete, and they're going to be in the top 5, right? Against teams like the Roses of England, right? Against the Australian ladies, they're going to compete in the top 5. They're a poor country, and it is, right? But they're going to be there. So it's about the attitudes. It's the same thing. Once we deconstruct these fallacies that we have in our minds, then we can apply it, you know? So I was watching cricket quite a bit, you know, and I've been a big cynic of sport. And I looked and I saw what guys were doing in and around the World Cup qualifiers and stuff like that. And, you know, it's nice that you have people like Dave Harton who've come back. People who understand. Because what you've got to do is you've got to have people who fundamentally understand the institutions and the sport, right? To understand what it is to nurture, right? You don't have a national team and have players, Ngwenya. You've got to nurture. There's development programs that are built over a period of time, right? So we've talked about, so like I said, those of us who grew up in the 80s, we all know housing for all by the year 2000. You know, all of these things. But never did we have things about sport for all. Right?
Honestly, one thing that we all agree in Zimbabwe is that we lack nurturing spirit. We lack that, and we don't have nurturing spirit. We are instant gratification people. Now, as long as we do not understand processes. And as a matter of fact, most of people don't even want processes. They believe is as long as they go nasi mangwana hakuna basa. That's the problem. We don't know how to nurture. We had gifts in the country. I mean, what can we talk about in terms of sport? But what do? We destroyed all of it. We don't have that anointing of nurturing. The leaders don't have. They lack the anointing to grow people. They're not leaders. They're simply people who are forcing themselves in spaces that they don't even qualify to be. A leader understands that you lead by example. You take a step and your followers take a step forward. Follow you. But what you have right now in the country is a mess. Because people don't have a heart to serve and to nurture. They only have hearts to collect. They're focused on what am I going to get. You remember when Muchangwa was having a conversation with Nigeria, Chanakira, Trevor, and Tendabiti, he made it clear that he can even affiliate with billionaires from overseas, but not working with our own people in the country. We have business people who are doing incredibly well that they could have worked with. But they said, no. We'd rather work with a billionaire that deserves to have his own airport. But the Zimbabwean business people can never be accommodated to also enjoy or benefit from our resources. This is the country that we are in. A country that does not promote its own people. Because when its own people are successful, they overthrow the government. I remember Gloria said the reason why they focus on pauperizing the masses over the years was because they knew that if there can be 3, 4, 5, 6 billionaires in the country, they overthrow the government. But not in a wrong way, but because they've got the financial muscle, they can take down the government. Why is it every time ZANU-PF pursue to take money from Chamisa? Because they know when there's financial muscle, they can be defeated. Because now you can also pay and protect yourself, but now you can't. If they can take away everything from you, you are powerless. And they start using money to buy people. Look where Sanges Chamangu is today. That's the issue. Is when you don't have money and the government is doing everything in its own power to make sure it pauperizes the masses, not growing them. Only vene, and the vene be in mind, vene abasku grow again. Vene vano turashinsa kunze. There's a difference. Vene don't invest in the country. Every time you hear about financial illicit flows, I mean, you heard about the Mugabe's son, the young Chatunga guy received almost 10 million rands on the night of the coup. The report came out by South African, investigators. You also heard about the Central report where Tagwire and also again Mr. Mnangagwa was being implicated about a lot of financial illicit flows. You saw the gold mafia too. Its money is always going outside. It's not coming in, it's going outside. So then how do you grow the country if the money is not supporting its own people? But that's what they do. So pauperize the masses. If you're poor, then you can't do nothing. We keep on that poverty mentality. Not knowing that if you can succeed and I succeed, if we can all start investing in our country and grow our country. They always say that, no, there's a lot of real estate happening in the country. And I was looking, I tried to do my analysis. I'm like, okay, there seems to be a lot of people looting from the poor and they're trying to build houses. Now, the question I'm going to have is, if you're buying houses, who's going to rent from you if people don't have jobs? Who's going to rent and pay dollars for you if people don't have jobs? No one. It's the lack of understanding. No financial model. It doesn't work. People have to have jobs. There must be employment in order for them to pay the rent every month. There must be money in the country. Very important. But we're going to be busy right now by analyzing the political roundup in Zim since the 23rd of August. What are the events that happened from the time we did elections? So the elections, this again was done by Brighton Matebuka. His hour is an analyst man that does all the analysis, and then we go through them and we get to learn from it. So he said political roundup in Zim since the August 23rd elections. The elections were held to be a sham by SADC via the report, which meant that the government that emerged from that was illegitimate. So the government that we have currently is illegitimate. And ED and his regime tried to fight off the final report domestically, regionally, using a cocktail of measures such as sustained campaign of propaganda, intimidation, and the subversion of institutions such as Parliament, ZEC, and the Judiciary. Domestically, the regime was hell-bent on three main strategies to defeat the large of illegitimacy, delegitimise, and the opposition through a sustained campaign of disinformation, attacking the opposition, Chamisa's undemocratic credentials, violently seek to destroy the opposition or force it to submit or accept a GNU. That was the goal. The goal is to force Chamisa to accept the government of national unity, which, I mean, from experience, it never worked. I don't know if it can work now, but we know it doesn't work. Not in Zimbabwe's situation. Darkness and light can meet. You can't meet thugs and the people that want to do the right thing. It will not work. Definitely it's not going to work. It will be like ANC and other people. So they have to murder in order for them to keep stealing. It is what it is. So number 3 is C, is use infiltration or proxies combined with the use of state institution via recalls so as to reconfigure parliament to get a 2/3 majority. Can you see? They even banned the Citizen Coalition for Change. I think 18 MPs and also the senators were blocked until their case is heard in High Court. Then from there we'll see. It's all play. We know what's going on, of course, because Mudenda is a ZANU-PF official. Of course, how do you work against your party? He is a ZANU-PF, supporter. It's known. It's not like it's a lie. It's no, Mudenda, sorry. You said it's Mudenda, but I call it Mudenda, which is wrong. Mudenda, sir. Sorry. Sustained campaign of disinformation and propaganda directed at Triple C. In order for propaganda against your opponent to be effective, it must come from a credible source, someone the public trusts in large numbers. And that's why people are saying Hopo has been a propaganda machinery for the regime. People are just alleging. You've seen how he started bashing Nelson Chamisa, I think towards elections, very close, and using an instrument that Tendai was angry that he lost the election against Markham. But Hopo is on a spotlight. And by the way, Hopo Chingono became famous because of Citizen Coalition for Change supporters who supported him. We did. I mean, I trusted his sources, but now I'm not trusting the news works, actually. I'm trusting the news works. That guy is compromised. In my opinion, he's compromised. They said that vehicle should be trusted by some opponent figures, diplomacy, and state entities to help achieve maximum confusion, have the capacity to cause confusion and disarray via the widest possible circulation of damaging information while framing a new dominant narrative to supplement the previous one. That vehicle should also have excellent communication skills, the ability to select credible, damaging information and stick to a believable script so that the script can be easily packaged and accepted as credible analysis. Okay, I want to ask you a question now, honestly, to all of you, my family, my brothers and sisters. Do you know what? As much as we are angry with the regime and what's going on in the country, did we ever ask about how we treat each other? It's one thing for us to be upset with ZANU-PF. It's another thing when we don't consider how we are treating each other as citizens. When people are taking money from individuals to sabotage the struggle, to me, it says a lot about how we are treating each other. Because if you take that 400,000 you never thought about the consequences that will come after your actions. As people are being murdered, we have an imposter today, Songezo Shavangu. But people were murdered. Somebody was abducted, killed. We've lost a life, innocent life, because of us having hatred, towards ourselves. We hurt to see peace. We hate to see this country move forward because ZANU-PF can't be ZANU-PF without the people. It's not a narrative word. It's a people. We have created a culture to destroy, not to build. We, the people, if we can come together and really hold hands and say this can't be it, things will change in Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, we the people, we are not good towards each other. As long as I don't care what's going on with my family. I spoke to someone today who said to me, honestly, I'll tell you, Rumbi, people are suffering in the country. People are suffering in Zimbabwe. People can't even afford to buy food. We don't think. Selfish as hell. So he's saying there to look for someone who was well-spoken, well-trusted sources. Of course, that's why Hopo is always going to be, accused. People are saying he seems to be, because immediately when Songezo came on the picture, he immediately said, no, because people are being disgruntled in Citizen Coalition for Change. And because he's got the numbers, he commands the multitude, it's known. The guy's been supported, people support him. And then you start to believe in his lies. But we all knew, and then also Chamisa kept on saying, it's not me, it's the imposter. People say no, because there is a reliable person who people trust that is literally sending propaganda. So I said that vehicle should also have excellent communication skills, the ability to select credible, damaging information, and stick to a believable script so that the script can be easily packaged and accepted as credible analysis. That vehicle should also possess the skills to organize and rally key sections of society around certain causes, which maintains visibility and solidifies credibility while creating a solid foundation for interacting with virtual all of them without arousing suspicion concerning the possibility of ulterior motives. The same vehicle should provide the regime with plausible deniability, the ability to convince the wider public that it's not possible for such a vehicle to be working with the regime. What did I say? People say, oh yeah, but can it be Wopo? Really, Wopo? No, he was very close to Chamisa, Yeah. Okay. But the script has changed. Also, there's Jonathan Moyo, the other side, who was attacking us on Chamisa daily. But the results of those movements, since August 23rd, the last few months, has been a relentless narrative of being pushed into the public domain. Although the opposition is not in power, it is being devoured left, right, and center. The dominant narrative is not that the opposition does not have a constitution and structures and is fractured and is thus unfit to govern. Another dominant narrative from the sustained disinformation campaign is that the opposition did not invest in V2s, V11s, polling agents, lost because strategic ambiguity. Its leaders obsessed with the Bible verses. He's not supporting Job Scala. He sidelined his fellow leaders and is unable to mobilize his supporters onto the streets, amongst other things. And therefore, the country should either move on or ditch him. Can you hear that? And you saw when he went in and said people should stop following Nelson Chamisa because he said, our hearts and minds are not aligning with BET, so he must go. Leave him. How can you take people? How can you tell us to remove someone who's in our hearts? And some people try to actually help me with that. It's somewhere good. She knows that against and she but okay, praise the Lord. I mean, really. But it get even worse, Not at all of the above issues are credible and capable of being accepted as genuine analysis and criticism. The key difference, however, it is, if that script is interpreted, say, by abductions, parliamentary recalls, the return of load shedding or hyperinflation, it's shoved back to the top of the pile over and over again like clockwork or a military drill until the staffing is knocked out of opposition supporters and the subject of illegitimacy of the regime has been totally supplanted and incredibly replaced by that of an opposition. Any critics who challenge that dominant narrative can either deftly be muted or made the subject of smear campaigns. At present, it would appear that the regime has been successful to reshape the dominant narrative via its proxies, which in return deflects any momentum, whether regional or domestic, to seek recourse following the illegitimate election. Bizarrely, rather than being seen as victims, is the opposition itself that is now being assailed for failing to reform and controlling a brutal regime that is armed to the teeth and spoiling for an opportunity to unleash mayhem, blood, and letting the violence. This has primarily arisen because of a combination of Nelson Chamisa refusing the offer of a GNU, so he refused the government of national unity to cure illegitimacy and bafflement from the absence of the street protest. So you also heard that when we spoke about it 2 days ago, that the regime had offered Nelson Chamisa a government of national unity. This is alleging, as per Simba Chikanza and the guy that was speak there, he was a ZANU-PF supporter. He said he was offered GNU, which he refused, and then he was pursuing the political settlement or free poll. So the abductions are used to terrorize, instill fear, and achieve submission to the regime's demands, while also serving as a warning on the futility of continuing to support the opposition and vulnerability that arises from it. Honestly, I can only imagine if I have to be put in a situation where I have no other option, I don't have a solution. Nothing that I hate like not having a solution. I'm a solution-oriented person. When I'm in a situation, I want a way out. The moment I have to be held at ransom, I'm sorry, I'm not going. I'm dead. I'm dead inside here because I can't make decisions. Honestly. The absence of specific information pertaining to the opposition's office holders from their structures has made the regime's job of choosing who to target to collapse the structures extremely difficult. And part of the clamor of structures to be made public is to make that task easier. So Chamisa was right for when he was, applying the strategic ambiguity. People said, but why? Why was it done? No, but it was to manage the situation, knowing well that the regime was literally following almost every step that he made, every decision that he made. Do you remember when that guy was abducted and he said, they kept on saying, what is Chamisa saying? What is he thinking? Tell us, why is he quiet? Because what they want to know is whatever move you're making. And recourse, this is the latest complicated part of the equation. The absence of official structures have made it virtually impossible to instigate a genuine rupturing of opposition. This forced the regime's hand and caused it to rely on a clumsy and amateurish clown of an imposter, Shabangu. The regime's obvious goal is to attain a 2/3 in parliament to help engineer a third term, which is currently outlawed by the constitution. The likely route to achieve this is via an unlawful amendment of the provision requiring a referendum, and they rely on judicial engineering to give this a seal of approval should, as is likely, be challenged in the captured courts. Conclusion: all routes for seeking a peaceful and constitutional change of government have been firmly shut. The opposition is currently helpless. Court proceedings and participation in further sham elections will only at best bring temporary respite. The regime itself is likely to end via an internal implosion. This time, a very dramatic and violent one once matters come to a head. I've never seen people that want power like these people. I'm trying to understand. Okay, but Viennese just to protect the riches. It's all. You heard what Lijo said. They're going to be very dangerous. Yeah. Yeah. Fear not, the Lord is with you. Fear not, the Lord is with you. Fear not. When we go to God in prayer, He answers our prayer. God has answered our prayer. He has heard us already, God has answered our prayer. He has heard us already. Relax. All is in control. Shh. God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above and beyond what you can ever think or imagine. So relax. They think they're in control. They're not in control. God is in control. Now we're moving to family life council. I saw a very, very disturbing, message this morning. A woman said, "Makadi henyu," I'm going to read in Shona, but be graceful because I'm not, words. Yeah. Makadi henyu maimiki ndaita odambuziko hombe veduwe datambuzwa nemurume wangu ndine mwana uye ndine makore 21 ekuberekwa ndinorowa pamwe pacho verbal abuse yacho yakanyanya apo andishande ndiyo main problem yangu ndakumbiriso kana dai makandiwanira one day, so she's looking for work zvaro ndigone kuchengeta mwana nekuwa nawo ka smart kekutanga noka start kekutengesa something nasi ndizvo siya aita mumba. So it's like things are broken there in the house, the plates are broken there, you can't really see the picture. And she needs help. She's only 21 years old. Okay, now hear from your 40-year-old sister. But one thing I'll tell you is I've sat down with very young people, tried to give them counsel. And I'll give them counsel, but they'll go and do as they please. But now hear from your sister. Now you're burnt. I know when you're burnt, you come back to your senses. When you're still babauka, you are going to be... We're living in a society where most people coming from really broken families. Some parents are dead. Some, they just don't have proper counsel. We know our structures are broken when it comes to family, but your 40-year-old sister is right here. She'll give you counsel. Young people hear and hear me well. I left Zimbabwe when I was only 21 years old. 21 years old, yeah, right? 21 years old. I remember 21 I attended in Zimbabwe when I was given a key and be disciplined at the same time. So 21 years old, I was a child, yeah. But I remember 18 years old. Hear me? 19, 18 years old. I went twice for introductions for your own information. Because the church, I was going to the AFM church. I'm a member of Apostolic Faith Mission, yeah. That's where I was raised. Okay. But I'm not saying the church was bad, but because people were getting married when they were young. So it was norm, it's the norm. And I went twice for introduction. I remember this, the other boyfriend of mine that I took to my uncle's house for introductions. And I remember this, we cooked and actually knelt for that guy. Crazy me. And I was like, I need to get married. When you're crazy in your head, when you're crazy, you think I've got it all together. Thank God the church said it was not possible. Then it didn't work. But at that time, I thought I was ready to get married. Now I'm looking back, I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, that it didn't happen. I don't know where I'll be today. Young people, hear from me now very clear. Marriage is not for kids, it's for mature people. Don't get too excited. Don't rush. Take your time. Find your purpose. Get this. My mom used to say you must work first. Earn salary, pay the bills. Understand life, because life in general is not easy. Even in my single life, I have challenges. It's even worse when you're married. It's important to train yourself, to understand life, to understand, because trust me, life is not easy. It is not easy. Young people, don't rush to get married. Whether you're a man, don't rush to take someone's child. When you're a woman, don't rush. Take your time. Get your education if you can. Even if you don't get education, I know God is able. God is a faithful. God can always make ways. Even if you don't have resources, He does divinely connect you to the right people to take you to your destination. So listen. Follow the process. Don't rush. You're going absolutely nowhere. Quick. Life can cut you. Take your time. Grow up. Learn. Understand life. Work. Pay the bills. Fall. Rise again. I've fallen many times. Be it personal, be it business. I've fallen. Trust me when you see me here. So it's normal. So then when you marry someone, you have understanding of how to react to situation. So rushing irikitika kumushai yedzungu zamurukita ma 21 years. 21 years, you're a baby. In 2023, you're a child. Leave. Our parents were cool because my parents got married when they were, I think, 18, 19, within 18, I think 9, 18, okay, I think 19, I don't know, 19, 20, I don't know, 18, but they were below 20. My dad was like a brother of mine when we were moving around, So it's no longer the same. Things have changed. Information is at your disposal. You go to YouTube, you get so much counsel. Get the counsel that you need. Don't rush for marriage. Because that's why we're having all these problems. I'm sure a 21-year-old, surely she's married to also a young person. A 25-year-old man in 2023 is not a grown-up man. He's a young child. 25 years, you're a baby. I know how they behave all day. Except those that were exposed to knowledge and counsel. And expect to parents that were really, really brutal in terms of teaching. They may be found mature. Don't rush into marriage. Take your time. Learn life. Make mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. And then, when you choose for someone to marry, whether you're a woman or you're a man, you need to look at the characteristics. The character of a person matters. Not the body, not the job, not the money in the bank account. The character is the only thing that makes a man stand. I see young people, oh, he's good looking. Oh, no, he's got a job. Just because he's got a job doesn't mean that he will give you the money. Just because he's got a job doesn't mean that you'll be able to take care of the family. There are men who are very careless out there. A man must have character. A man must suit your family life. Because when you marry into a family, you become a child in that space. So you need to check. Don't be fooled. By the way, there's a line that men use very well. You can hear from me as a single woman, and men are very, I want to marry you. Don't be scared about that word. Most of them, they don't mean it. They don't even know what they're talking about. They're just using those lines to lure women into thinking that I'm going to be married. Be wise, be sober, be vigilant. Check the person. Research his family life. Check his family people. Don't be fooled. No, everything's gonna work. I've seen people who says, no, but you don't know. It's just gonna work. Try it. I know my friend tried and they're happy. How do you know they're happy? It's an assumption. Just because people are taking pictures wearing the same clothes doesn't mean that they're happy. Do your research. And also you are very lucky. For those that are in diaspora, you are very lucky because kumushakuri easy ga. Listen, end up my group on social media, hey, do you know this man? Is he married? Is he cohabitating? Easy peasy to find information about a person who lies. Easy. Hear from your sis. Do your research. It's your destiny. It's your future. Both male and female. Do your research. When she looks beautiful, that means nothing. Beauty does not build a home. Beauty does not make you a better person. Your heart, spirit is what makes you a better person. That's my counsel. Musamanya, take your time to study, to understand life, make mistakes, rise up, learn from good people, get mentorship. Because at the end of the day, this is your life, it's your destiny. No, you're taking time. I'm 40 years, I've never married. So don't worry, you're actually 21, you're a kid. I'm 40 years old. And people can say whatever they want. They used to talk, now they no longer talk, they just leave me live my life in peace. But I know when I find the right person, I'm definitely gonna marry. But there's no need for me to rush. I might as well be single and do it right than heading for divorce. I don't have time for that. That's all I can have for you tonight. And by the way, condolences to those that passed away. You know, that tragic, really. 15 people passed away. Is it 15 if I'm not mistaken? That way, on their route from Bulawayo to South Africa, 22. Apparently, I know some people who also that actually know someone who's close to me, it's a relative, who the mother passed away and the child as well. Very, very heartbreaking. But it's that season where the enemy is after your lives, and there are a lot of rituals that the wicked are doing for power. So be sober, be vigilant, pray for yourselves. Make sure you cover yourself with the blood of Jesus this time of Christmas. I love you all. May God bless you and may God bless Zimbabwe. You must sleep tight. And for those that are just waking up, have a great one. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. God bless you. Bye for now. Praise God.